goal, knowing what you want, writing it down, researching and discovering the roadmap, taking specific actions to achieve. My goal, since I was a child, was to purchase a house and provide financial security for my family. To build wealth by living below my means and investing wisely, and to teach others how to do the same thing. Three events in my life have gotten in the way of achieving that goal. The first one is when I was 19, I suffered an industrial accident and I injured my back. I was carrying a 180-pound log, 8 feet long, with my coworker 1 month into starting this job. My coworker lost his temper and threw the log, causing me to twist. My back snapped. The log hit the ground. It jolted through my body. And that event, that accident, resulted in 5 years of suffering with horrific back spasms. On average, I would have 85 back spasms a year that would drop me to the ground. The goal of home ownership in providing security for my family, for my fiance at the time, and I always envisioned having children, so for my children, was so strong and so vivid that instead of giving up, I continued to work. I have such an inner drive to succeed and a will to fight and not give up. And I discovered that I wasn't able to do physical labor anymore, so I enrolled in college. And there were many times where, because of my back spasms, my back would give out and I would literally have to crawl in the snow, dragging my book bag, getting to the classroom door and it was locked because I was late, knocking on the door, having the professor open the door, and I'd have to crawl on the floor, brace myself with my book bag laying on the floor and take notes so I didn't miss class. And I stood with podiums in the front of the class onto the side. And there were many times where I had back spasms during class and my professor had to stop class and I had to get assistance, or I had to drag myself out of the room to try not to disturb the rest of the class. But I was so determined. I was just, it's unrelenting, you know, to achieve a goal. And my goal was home ownership and being a contributor to my family. And it took 5 years for the doctors to discover exactly what my injury was and what they could do about it. But I ended up having full fusion anterior posterior fusion surgery. And that surgery, thank God, was successful. And I went back to college and I graduated magna cum laude high honors with 2 business majors. And again, I continued to work on my goal of financial security and wealth building, but living below my means. I mean, for example, I never owned a new car. I still have never owned a new car. And I purchased a very modest house and paid $80,000 for it, 1,300 square feet. 16 years ago, I still live in the same home. And I always envisioned paying off this mortgage. And then another event happened, and that's divorce. When you're married and your partner decides that they no longer want to be in a marriage, you have absolutely no control over that. So I was forced to refinance the home that we lived in and pay her out. Well, that really affected the written plan that I had and the momentum that was building and the savings account that we had and financial security. But for a while, you know, with having a college degree, I had a good job and I was able to make my mortgage payment and to put money aside in the savings and to put retirement money aside to the amount that my employer matched. And I continued to work toward that goal because now that goal of home ownership and financial security is even more important because now I'm a single parent with 2 children. And every decision that I make affects them. So I'm dedicated to working on the goal. And I'm optimistic. And I'm making progress. And then the third event happened. And that third event is Lyme's disease. Prior to Lyme's disease, I worked full time. And I actually started a business in the insurance business because I believed in protecting families. And helping them to achieve their goal of financial security and providing a safe haven for their families. And when Lyme's disease hit me, when I began having neurological dysfunction, I had no idea what was happening to me. And the neurological effects of Lyme were so incredibly devastating that I was having multiple seizures a day. I've had well over 1,000 seizures. And because of the severity of this disease, I'm unable to work. Not only am I unable to work, but I'm unable to live in this planet, on this planet. My whole world is this house. 7 rooms, 1,300 square feet. That's my world. And it's been my world for 6 years. Now, because of the financial devastation of living with Lyme's disease for so long, and the loss of income, I've lost well over $100,000 easily in earnings. And I'm on Social Security disability, where my yearly income is $15,000 a year. So Lyme disease has put me into a category of poverty. Poverty is not consistent with financial security, nor is it from this point. I have had to refinance my mortgage to reduce the monthly payments, and I owe more on my house than I did 16 years ago when I purchased it. I owe around $90,000 on my house now. I have no equity. And I've never taken out a second mortgage, never borrowed against my home or anything like that. It's those 3 events that occurred in my life that have put me in the position that I'm in. My savings account is gone. I mean, to put it into perspective, my children have more savings than I have. I had to use my savings to pay for treatments, therapies, supplements, doctor's visits. And I have no retirement because I had to live off that retirement for a while. And now I just have a dream left. And that dream is to own my house free and clear. That I don't have to worry about losing it to the bank. I don't have to worry about telling my children that we can no longer stay in our home, the only home that they've known their whole lives. This is what Lyme's disease does when it becomes chronic. It strips your resources from you, your freedom from you. And there's only a dream left. I close my eyes and I dream of better days. And every day that passes by, I ask myself, is it possible? Is it possible that I can achieve the goals that I so diligently planned for, worked toward? I have to believe. I have to. Gives me hope. I want to thank all of you for watching my videos and for sharing my videos with your friends and your family. I ask that you share this information with everybody you know. And for those of you who want to reach out to me, I can be contacted at LymeDiseaseOutreach@gmail.com. When you reach out, if you provide your phone number and the best time to reach you, and you would like to speak to me, I will be happy to call you. Thank you. I wish all you the very best.